What separates those who ship? I'm talking about shipping products, of course. There's most of us, and I've been there for sure, where we're just wildly underestimate the amount of time that it'll take to develop a new product. We perpetually just blow past our target launch dates. And those projects end up abandoned instead of becoming products that get into the hands of customers. And then there are the shippers. They ship on time, every time, and they launch their products often even sooner than expected. So what's the difference? Well, the shippers have honed a very specific type of muscle. It's not a technical muscle, but they have technical chops, of course. It's not really a marketing or sales muscle, but they are constantly talking to customers. No, it's a very specific muscle that enables them to turn building decisions into business decisions. And as a natural builder myself, I've had to learn the hard way that the skill of building things like software products can often work against the skill of making wise, fast business decisions. And once you become aware of that, you can start to tame that friction and actually turn it into an asset. So here's what this looks like in practice. Let's say that I'm building something like a new software product. Inevitably, I'm going to run into a roadblock. Something is just tricky or complicated. It's just more challenging than I expected it would be. Now, the builder instinct, of course, is to just figure this out. Like dive into the rabbit hole, start searching, just trying to figure it out, researching, experimenting, tinkering, backtracking, exploring different solutions. And then finally, got it, figured it out. Awesome. But that rabbit hole cost me an extra 5 days. Maybe it cost me an extra 2 weeks. And then that pattern repeats itself across every single project. And then those extra days add up. And so then it's a question of, well, was it worth it? So here is the skill, the muscle memory that I try to hone in order to avoid this and in order to be able to ship products consistently. Every time I hit a roadblock, something that is hard in the building process, something that's slowing things down, that's a cue to hit pause and consider what my actual options are. And instead of following the instinct, which is just to dive straight down the rabbit hole and figure it out, take it as a cue to hit pause and consider the options. The options, of course, are I could push through and go ahead and figure this thing out. I could delegate this, or I could table it for now. More often than not, I delegate it, and I would often choose to delegate something in the building process when it's something that I identify that it's not really playing to my strengths. I'll look at a problem, I'll look at a roadblock that I've hit into, and it'll occur to me, you know what? This seems like it would be an easy thing to solve for someone else on my team. But for me, and in my particular strengths and weaknesses, it's just harder and slower than it needs to be. So that's a good indication that, like, you know what, this task, I could hand it off to my teammate because I assemble a small team of people who are specifically, they have strengths in areas where I'm weak. So handing this off is an opportunity to give my teammate something to work on that she's awesome at, that it comes easy to her. But for me, it would be harder and slower. So that's a good opportunity to delegate. Oftentimes, instead of that, I'll just table it. Sometimes that can be the best solution because sometimes the blocker is not required in order to keep making forward motion, forward progress toward shipping, right? And what often ends up happening here is, okay, the decision now is to not make a decision and we'll decide later. So I can push this blocker, if you will, to the back of the roadmap, to the back of the bottom of the list. But what often ends up happening is all the progress that we make between now and then, and by the time we circle back to this issue, thanks to all the progress we've made, more times than not, it's a non-issue. We've already eliminated it along the way, or we've learned some things along the way, and we've changed direction, and now that thing that we put on the bottom, we can just cross it off right away and don't even have to work on it. That happens a lot. And then, of course, there's always the choice to not delegate it, not table it, but actually dig in, actually figure this thing out. And that means acknowledging, you know what, I'm going to figure this out, and I'm going to take it slow. I have to take it slow because figuring it out takes more time. And maybe that's okay. Maybe it's an opportunity to learn. Maybe it's an opportunity to acquire a new skill. Now, don't mistake it, because this decision to stop and dig in is a business decision. You're not making a building decision. You're not even making a learning decision. You're making a business decision. And the business decision is the reason why I often choose this option too, is it's something that I feel acquiring the skill or acquiring the solution will become a valuable asset to me in the future. Often it's because it's a blocker or a problem that it's pretty clear that this thing is going to keep happening, or it's going to happen repeatedly. So if I take a minute, or if I take a week and slow down and figure this thing out now, that's a new tool that I can add to my tool belt and have for the next time that it comes up, and the next time. And that's a new asset that can help me build a business. Now, that's not always the answer, but sometimes that's a good opportunity to find that. So at the end of the day, these questions, these blockers, they can look like they're building decisions or building questions, but they're actually business decisions. And so when you turn these building decisions into business decisions, that's what it means to be in the business of building. I think I just twisted up my words there, but anyway, I've got a couple other videos on how I have learned to code and became a full stack founder. So you can check that out right here. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. See ya.